Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. I'm about to do something so controversial. I'm going to show you my Italian chicken because it is the easiest recipe of all time, of ever. When I was very first married and I had no idea how to cook or take care of my husband. I mean, I wasn't even married yet. We were just living together before. I had no idea. And I found this recipe online and I used to make it all the time. I don't know if it's his favorite recipe, but it is so easy. It's literally 2 seconds and I'm going to defend it till the end of time. We call it Italian chicken and potatoes just because I think that's what the recipe was called. I'm just going to use breasts, but you could use thighs or whatever you want to. Now, I know a lot of people are like, that's not cooking. It's cooking, okay? It is, and here's what I'm gonna tell you why. This is Italian dressing. You could use any brand of Italian dressing. It just Costco happened to have the Olive Garden, and I was like, why not, right? All this is salad dressing. So it's oil, and it's vinegar, and it's seasonings. Well, if I make a marinade, and I put it in this bag, what am I gonna put in here? I'm gonna put oil, I'm gonna put vinegar, maybe lemon juice, I'm gonna put seasonings. That's no difference, okay? It's okay to take the shortcut if you need to take the shortcut. Sometimes the flavor from an Italian dressing is really delicious and not really like replicatable at home. Is it the healthiest option? Not this Olive Garden is probably not the healthiest option. But I'm sure there is some organic, like no high, I don't even think this has. Yeah, it has no artificial flavors and no high fructose corn syrup, but I'm sure there's healthy Italian dressing offerings if that's what you want. Or don't make it at all if it upsets you. But let's do it. It's so easy. Step one, I put my chicken breasts into a Ziploc bag. I have like fancy marinators, but I know most people have a Ziploc bag. So we're gonna do it in a Ziploc bag. You're gonna open your dressing. If you're using a smaller dressing, it might take like the whole bottle, but basically you just wanna cover it. That's all you wanna do really, is just make sure all your chicken is covered in the dressing. You could definitely make this in the crock pot too. Then I just seal her up and I'm gonna pop her in the fridge while we prep the potatoes. So you can rub it around if you want, massaging into the meat, but it's gonna be sitting in that marinade. It's gonna get plenty Italianized. All right, I'm gonna have it with potatoes. So I got a fresh scrubber and I scrubbed up our spuds and we're just gonna dice them up into, I don't know, like maybe 1-inch dice, right? That looks pretty good. And just like a chunky, we're gonna roast everything in the oven. So, and I find the oven does warm up the house in the summer, but I mean the stove does too. So if I want to make something in the oven, which I always think the oven is more convenient, then I just do. Summer or not, I just do, right? So we'll see if this is enough potato. After we get these are big potatoes. Once we get these two whacked up, I only put 2 breasts in, so it's not that big. I think this is probably equal parts potatoes and chicken. Pull my bag out. I'm going to throw the potatoes in here too. Don't worry. I know they're getting chicken guts on them, but we're going to cook it all together on one pan. Okay. I'm going to mix everything around, give everything a good swoosh. All right. Our chicken, our potatoes, everything. And then I'm just going to lay it in the fridge and let it marinate for like 30 minutes. You can obviously marinate it longer, but a half an hour I find is plenty. Sometimes people do these as freezer meals. Like make something like this, pop it in the freezer, and then you can just defrost it when you want to use it. And I love that idea. That's pretty cool. All right. We're gonna pour it all out. You could totally do this in a crock pot. I've never made it that way, but it would certainly work. I like to roast in the oven. Okay. So I'm just going to lay everything out into a single layer on our baking sheet. And I've got the oven preheated to 400 degrees. This breast right here, this one is pretty thick. So I imagine she's gonna take longer. This one Might only take 20-25 minutes, but our potatoes are going to take a little longer anyways. So we're going to pop it in a 400. I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and check on it, okay? I'm just going to sop up some of this marinade. Definitely have to cook this marinade. You would not want to put this on the finished dish raw. You would make yourself sick, okay? So any marinade that was in this bag either has to be on this tray cooked or it has to be in the trash. You cannot use it to like dress this after because this marinade has been on raw chicken. So I'm gonna toss this bag in the trash. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, 400 degrees. It's fresh out. I made it a little bit longer because I was trying to cook the potatoes, but I'm actually gonna take the chicken off. But I just wanna show you how the chicken turns out looking. Last time I did a roasted chicken like this, everyone was saying, oh, it's not cooked, it's not cooked. But here's the trusty meat thermometer, okay? And it tells you the temperatures on here. Poultry, you want 165. You wanna go deep into the center of the meat. So I'm going all the way into the center of the meat, and I'm actually over. The temp says 174. The temp says 174, and it tells you right here, poultry, 165. If you're ever worried, you can always check with a thermometer. So I'm gonna pull these off, and I'm gonna put the potatoes back in for another couple of minutes because they're just not done enough for me. They're soft. You can see they're soft, but I want them to be just a little bit more done, okay? Here she is out of the oven. There's the potatoes, there's our chicken. Let's give it a taste. Obviously this serves more than one person. I just have it on a plate here. Let's find some chicken that we know we did a little over. So hopefully we didn't dry it out. Still moist, still. I wish I had pulled it out just a minute earlier. Let's taste the potatoes. It's all really hot. Yeah. Is it the greatest thing I've ever cooked? No. Is it a super easy, right to the table meal? So easy. Especially if you're a beginner. So easy. Would heat up great for meal prep. Very flavorful. If you had marinated a little longer, more of an Italian flavor. Different dressings will give you different flavors, right? Delicious. I would put a sprinkle of salt on my serving. It's the only difference I would do is a little salt and pepper. Delicious, simple, basic. Just put a little sprinkle of salt and it makes all the flavors pop. So that's the only thing I would do. When I put it on the sheet pan, put a little salt and pepper before you start cooking in the oven. Other than that, I mean, what could be easy? This is the easiest recipe there is. It's so easy.